Woo! What is going on, guys? Chris here with another video. I'm here to kind of share some stuff with you on a interesting little series I'm trying to cook up here. It's all based off of a book called The Tribe of Mentors by Tim Ferriss. In the book, he talks about sending out some questions to some really famous or highly successful people in their very niche area. He was expecting nobody to respond back to him, and lo and behold, he got tons of responses and some really awesome rejection letters. I cannot recommend that book enough. And one of the first ones is, what book have you given most or has greatly impacted your life? And my number one choice here is gonna have to be The 4-Hour Workweek. I mean, if you know me, if you don't know me, if you're getting to know me, if you know anything about me, I talk about this book a ton. And I kind of want to finally share, not finally share, like I'm like holding all the secrets.
Keep your secrets.
So many people have already covered it in so many different YouTube videos, right? There's tons of book reviews on this thing. Even Tim Ferriss himself going through a lecture kind of show you what the book is all about. And trust me, this thing is thick. THICC thick. And I'm just gonna focus on the 4 things that really stood the test of time for me. The acronym DEAL stands for Definition, Elimination, Automation, Liberation. It's the thing that's the constant message throughout the book, and I've used it through my personal life and my professional life. And I wanna share with you how I think whenever I go through some of these questions, and that it's okay to change your mind or have a different type of opinion all throughout your life. It's okay to switch things up. I guess I'm gonna have to give a disclaimer here. I have no idea what your situation is, but I get it. Everybody's is different. It doesn't mean you can't do something about your current situation. That's all I'm trying to tell you. I'm also here to let you know that I, believe it or not, have said the same things you are probably saying while watching this video. You know, when you're starting from square one, it's kind of like, man, you're looking at people who are just so far ahead, or maybe not. Maybe some people are just right there in it with you and you don't even know. I remember somebody telling me, we're reading the same book, we're just on 2 totally different chapters. It can be kind of frustrating when somebody's on chapter 30 and you're on chapter 1. First of all, what a clickbaity title, right? The 4-Hour Workweek, escape the 9-to-5, live anywhere, and join the new rich. This is like clickbait before clickbait was even invented. This is so great. And there's so much in there. There's so much to unpack. I can't really describe how much of it is like a field guide, but the acronyms that he starts with.
D is for definition.
How I applied definition to my personal and my professional life was defining what I wanted out of them. I mean, I had no idea. I was in my early 20s and I was kind of being a waiter and a bartender and doing magic for side gigs and extra money. And man, I was making tons of cash, but I was always broke somehow. I knew nothing about money or how it worked or how I could put it to work for me. That was like one of my biggest things. And I didn't really know that up until like my 30s. So I didn't really know any of that stuff, or I didn't pay attention to it at least until it actually started to really, really matter. Throughout my mid-20s, I was starting to work for a door-to-door company, and I traveled with them for a couple of years, and I have some awesome memories that I will never forget. Those guys are all my brothers. I still try to talk to them as much as I possibly can to this day, and people like door to door. Culturally, it was one of the best environments I've probably ever worked in. It was really, really cool to hang out with some of those people. But once again, I didn't really know why I was doing anything. I had no idea. I was just making money for the sake of making money. The bad part about that culture was just like, oh, if you lost it or you spent a ton of cash, it was just like, hey, you know what? Sell it and you'll make it back next week. So I was like starting to condition to like, if I spent this money, it doesn't matter. I'll just make more later. Not the smartest way to think. Towards my late 30s, I ended up joining a pretty large telephone company. When I was getting with them, my definition of what I wanted started to really hone in. I didn't know, but I was a big fan of education. I love teaching and educating and helping people. And I didn't even know I liked it this much until I really started teaching and educating and helping people. Watching them grow just made me feel super fulfilled in a way. But once again, in my personal life, I didn't really have any kind of real definition. I was still just kind of like living day to day. And that's kind of weird to say out loud, and a lot of people are probably watching this video saying, you know, I mean, dude, that's what I do. I just live day to day.
L-I-V-I-N.
This was like the hardest thing I've ever had to do, was be super specific in what I wanted outside of a corporate world. I eventually wanted to be in business for me. I wanted to create my own brands, my own logos, my own everything. I wanted to be in the entertainment business. I want to be in front of a camera, behind a camera, so forth and so on. So I wasn't specific on my personal life. Now, obviously, obviously many moons have passed here. About 4 years ago when I was 31, I had the opportunity to leave my job. In this time, I planned it out to where I paid off all my bills and I set myself up to kind of live a nomad lifestyle or an early retirement, all from the 4-hour work week for about 18 months or so. And so I left when I was 31 and I ended up going to Japan for a couple of months. I came back, I ended up moving to Colorado with my brother and I stayed with him and we just connected and it was really awesome. It was one of the best times of my life. And in that time, I also started to define what I wanted personally and professionally at the same time. My goals completely shifted. The ability to just walk around and not have to worry about missing an email or a business phone call or a Zoom meeting or something like that. It allowed me to just completely decompress. I didn't have to stress out about money because I had way more than I've ever had in my life at that point. The downside of that was I didn't know how, once again, I was just learning how money and finance worked. And it sounds crazy to say that, Chris, you're 31 years old. Yeah, I know, trust me, pain will make you learn. So I learned a lot throughout that time period. I ended up going back to work, and now that I'm about to exit again, or very soon, my definition is still the same. I cannot wait to live that lifestyle. Except the only difference is now I'm able to define what I want in front of or behind a camera. I started trying to, I guess, be on my own when I was like 21 years old, and I'm 35 now. So it took me about 14 years to define what I wanted in a way, and it's still changing now. So if your ideas are changing and you feel a little uncertain of what you're gonna do next, I would say, listen, stick to it, define it, and be as specific as you possibly can. Execute on it, try it out. I mean, dude, I'm telling you, I was a freaking magician, door-to-door salesperson, I was trying to be a corporate trainer, and now I wanna be a YouTuber. It's completely open to your interpretation only. I guess this is like the hardest thing to do, because it's like you have to get started on it. The second part is...
E is for elimination.
The second part is probably where people, like, you finally define it, and elimination is where people get stuck. People get hung up the most, is eliminating the people who aren't the best for you, or who aren't right for you. It's really difficult because I've had some really awesome friends. I would consider my friends who I worked through, and we were hanging out. It was fun times, but it wasn't really like the type of friends that I have now. All my friends, we want to hold each other accountable. We want to talk about all of our progression. We want to see each other grow. And I've had some other friends who were just like, man, I want to just get drunk or fucked up all day. And what do you want to do with your life? I don't know, like always talk and never do. And I never wanted to be like that. I deep down knew there was going to be something greater for me and the people who were closest to me. If you don't eliminate some of those people that you're closest with, you're going to stay stuck with them, and you're going to continue to be the average of your company. Eliminating a lot of other stuff too, like eliminating a lot of like the frivolous purchases that I could probably save money on. That was another difficult thing, was like buying groceries and then eating out. The thing is that when you start eliminating stuff and you start being more disciplined, you start to hear people who aren't eliminating, which is crazy. Or people who are like, man, I don't have enough time to study, or I don't have enough money, but they're out from 10 p.m. to 3 a.m. drinking booze, renting up $100 bar tabs. I'd much rather use that 5-hour time, keep $130 in my pocket, and dedicate it to what my future is going to be. Elimination in here too also talks about eliminating time inside of work. If you're in the cubicle, I already work at a computer 100% of the time. I mean, how to start working remote is already in here. The crazy thing is that this book was written in 2007, and for me, it's still relevant. People can still use stuff that is in this book right now, right this second.
A is for automation.
If you were to break through the elimination barrier, the rest of this book, this thing is it's so easy. It's so easy, because once you get in that habit, and I mean, it's pretty self-explanatory. We create new habits. If I don't get to write a script, or I'm mad if I don't get to storyboard my next YouTube video, or edit it, or do something, or write the jokes. I'm mad that I'm not able to do the better habits that are better for me. If you're trying to get anywhere professionally, I mean, you've got to do the extra step. That automation of showing up 5 minutes early and staying 5 minutes late, and or going the extra mile for a certain customer, maybe a coworker or a leader or a peer, whatever it may be. You get in those habits and you start to automate those things, you'll start to see people who are not as automated as you, and you want to start to surround yourself with other people, and it makes elimination a little easier.
L is for liberation. It is far better for a man to go wrong in freedom than to go right in chains.
I've done what I'm about to do once before, and I had zero knowledge of anything. And now I have 10 times as much money, 10 times as much knowledge, 10 times as much experience. I have no idea what's gonna be next. The liberation part is very exciting too. When I was able to take my first early retirement, I thought I was gonna, start YouTube then. And I really didn't execute on it. Once again, I just wasn't as specific. I didn't define what I wanted to do. I had some ideas, but I wasn't really doing anything or testing anything out to see what worked and what didn't. I haven't even quit my 9 to 5. It feels like I already have. Like I'm already there, and it's already liberating right now. I've got like 2 subscribers.
We're not particularly good listeners.
But it's like you feel like you made it in a way, in just a really weird way. And that kind of ties back into the message. You can do the acronym, be specific, and you can define what you want in your day-to-day routines. And you can eliminate waking up late, and you can feel liberated at the end of the day by saying, hey, I gave everything I got. I worked out, I did X, Y, and Z, and I accomplished this and this and this and this. But if I could leave you on a cliffhanger so you could go and just get this book, I'm probably just gonna keep it in a separate video, but check out skiplagged.com. That's how I do all my traveling. I might just throw it up, who cares? The last thing I'm gonna leave you with is a quote from the book. Tim was actually worried about people copying and pirating this book and him not being a best-selling author. His friend said, hey man, those people are not your target audience. And he said, you know what, you're right. Became #1 best-selling author, been translated in so many different languages, blah, 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 blah. I have listened to this thing for free on YouTube for probably the past 10 years. I have listened to it for free, and I've used this knowledge so much that I could not help but support this guy. And not just once, but 5 times over. You know who you are. If you're watching this video, you've probably gotten a copy of this book or have gotten a link, something like that. It just goes to show you how valuable that thing is, because I didn't have to buy it. I didn't have to pay for it. I didn't even have to say what I just said on camera. Nobody even knows about it. But it was so valuable to me, I ended up buying it 6 times. That's a crazy thing. Like when people say like, I'd pay 10 times more what it's worth. In this case, I kind of did. Whatever your circumstances, listen to me closely, right? If you say, Chris, I don't have the money, check the links down below, right? Check the links down below. You will see all this stuff. If you get to the point where you're like me and you say, I'm just gonna listen to the stuff for free, if it works, I'll buy it. Okay. I'm there with you. Or if you say, hey, you know what? I'm not like that. I just want to go buy it. I'm sold. You don't got to do anything. Audible.com, no sponsors. YouTube's not sponsored. Just click the links below. Speaking of clicking links, if you haven't clicked the like, comment, or subscribe button, go ahead and do that now. Click the bell for any kind of upcoming notification if you want to get notifications for videos like this. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace. And I kind of want to share you. Man, I've got to stop smoking weed before these things. Or like I get kind of moody if I don't work out. It's kind of funny. It's like my version of hangry. It's like I don't even know how to fuse like mad and lift. I'm like mifted. I'm like Matt or I'm lad. No, all those are terrible. And I am like I said, I'm a big, one of my regardless, I'm talking like